Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Remember back when the second period was kind of the Oilers' specialty? Not anymore. At least not lately. Holy snap. Oilers get absolutely mauled in the second period by Seattle, putting it out of reach. Tough turnaround on the back-to-backs, beat up lineup, but oh my goodness. They go down with a whimper. 6-1 at the hands of the Seattle Kraken. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Looking forward to breaking this game down. We got Struddy, we got Zuby, we'll have Brownie. You know what else we got tonight? We're giving away tickets to the Battle of Alberta on Saturday night, courtesy our friends at Play Alberta. So stick around. A little bit later on in the show, we will do a trivia question and giving away a couple of club seats to the Battle of Alberta on Saturday night. As always, our show is brought to you by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more so you can play casino games, bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything you need to know is at playalberta.ca. I watched that debacle from my Adrenaline Diesel studio at my home office in Sherwood Park. Adrenaline Diesel is a Caterpillar recognized and authorized dealer and repair facility. For expert service for your CAT engine, visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Gentlemen, good evening. Struds, I love hockey. I do it for a living. I played it. It's in my blood. I love it to death. I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. This is one of the rare games where I literally just didn't really even want to watch. I kind of just didn't really feel like it. And I'm not even a fan. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? The next 30 minutes of this game are going to be a slog. And it felt that way. How did you feel?
I had a coach one time to tell me that there's some nights, no matter what you do, you're going to win. And some nights, no matter what happens, you're going to lose. And I had a feeling going to this one, especially when I saw Ekholm out. I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to go well. And, they hung in there for the first, and then I was proven right. And I didn't write it down. I didn't put it on Twitter, so I can't, confirm it. But it's just
we'll give you the win. Like, I trust you. We trust him. Hey, Zuby?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the time of arrival, like that makes a difference. And that's a hard turnaround. Gene Principe went through, there was about 3:30 by the time they got to the rooms. It's pretty late. It's a pretty late time. Now it's only 2:30 Seattle time, but still. It's tough. It just, there's a lot of reasons for this not to happen for the Oilers tonight, and give Seattle credit. They weren't going to let them off the hook.
No, they did not. Can we just reflect for a moment? And I'm not going to let them off the hook. I'm not giving them a big excuse, but can we just call it what it is? An 8:22 puck drop last night. Insane. And then they got to get to Seattle to play again tonight. That's just stupidity. That's a tough road to hoe right there, Struds.
Before I was a media, definitely when I was a player, I advocated for no 8:00 starts. It doesn't make sense in a league that is always talking about how do we get more out of our players? How do we keep our players more rested? These 8:00 starts are stupid. I'll just say they're absolutely stupid. Everyone can move up a half hour, even 7:30. And then start on time. Start at 8. Have the guys coming out at 8. Yeah, your anthems. Boom. We're starting at 8:06, 8:07. Like it is, or sorry, 7:45. Whatever it is. It is so stupid that is what we're doing in this league when we're trying to promote rest. And you look on the East. Those guys on the East, they have 1:00, 2:00 games on the weekends after Christmas. They're rested. Then we wonder why these Eastern guys or Western guys are bagged. This is it. It is just. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. If there's one thing I could change in NHL, I would ban anything after 7, maybe 7:30. Nothing. If 8:00 is too late, go home. You're turning into a pumpkin.
Zuby, they're not the finely tuned athletes that you guys in your 11:55 puck drops, 11:55 p.m. puck drops in Div 12 men's senior.
It's funny because the guy who runs the league is on our team, and I'm asking him that all the time. Why are we starting at 10:30? You run the league, you set the schedule, and I think he's a very nice guy, and I think he's almost trying to be too fair sometimes. Yeah. Aaron St. Pierre says in the stream already, I actually thought they might start the podcast after the second period. I'll tell you something, Aaron. I suggested that in the Got Your Back chat.
You sent that
a live one.
Yeah. If I didn't think I'd get in crap from TSN because they'd be like, hey, you need to be watching the game, I probably would have considered it and said, hey, let's get her going. But anyway, it was what it was. Zuby, it is an absolute train wreck in the chat already tonight. We got Jeff Jackson getting fired. We actually have Dylan Holloway has joined us in the chat. He says, hey fans, I miss you, but I bet you miss me more, with a little kissy face. So there's Dylan Holloway trolling around in the chat. People are being fired. They're talking about it just being a disaster. Struds, let's get to the breakdown and let's provide some good, honest breakdown of what happened. But then I think the people might need a little bit of perspective here on what this was. To the breakdown, brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. The 4x4 winter event is here. Get up to $11,200 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Bighorn at your Alberta Ram dealer. See your Ram dealer today. Okay, like I said, we're not going to build in a bunch of excuses, Struds, but they are there to be had, and they do need to be acknowledged. So tough set of back-to-backs. No McDavid, no Draisaitl, no Matthias Ekholm, and no starting goaltender. So the Oilers are shorthanded, tired, and they roll in against a team that they have been curb-stomping regularly, and the Seattle Kraken had enough of getting cracked over the head by the Edmonton Oilers. And in that second period, man, it just went sideways.
I really believe that the goal that was waved off brought back, Skinner's goal, I really think that could have changed it, because it kind of brings you energy.
Ask you that.
Geez, you know what, guys, we're actually winning 1-0 here, and we're playing okay. Like we're hanging in there, and sometimes just playing okay is enough, especially when you're hanging around. It didn't work that way. They called it back. Maybe they touched it. I don't know. I'm a long ways away from Seattle, but it was pretty light touch if Connor Brown did actually touch that with his stick. Nonetheless, they waved it off. If they get it, I think it's a different maybe second period. But now you come out in the second period, and Seattle's like, okay, we got to just keep the pressure on, and they did, and they just kept going after the Oilers, and the Oilers were on their heels for that whole middle period. It was constantly on their heels.
2 games in a row.
Yeah. So you can go on, I'm not going to get into the goalie too much, but, D-men holding on the puck too long, not making plays. Forwards not being available for passes when it comes to them, not being ready for them when it comes to them. Back checking with no desire, not pushing in front. Like, they looked like a team that had no jam to them. They looked tired, and Seattle's like, oh, this is an easy one. I could get some points tonight.
Happy says, this team quit on each other tonight. Absolutely pathetic. Listen, Happy, I know you're feeling frustrated. I mean, I don't think you need to take it there. I mean, there were some bad moments, and definitely defensively it was pretty putrid, and there was some tough looks tonight, but I just think you got to keep in mind the situation that the group was in tonight. Struds, it is normal to have losses where you basically just have to say, crumple that one up and throw it away. And to me, I don't think the Oilers have had a ton of those this year, but this absolutely qualifies as one of those losses. So you got Ronnie Oceanfront saying, I will not be putting any stock in this loss. Please join me. So I believe this is one of those losses. It's situational. It's not ideal. We could read deep into all of these signs and every little tidbit of this. I don't think it's representative of where this team is at in this moment necessarily. And I think the head coach probably felt the same way. Is that fair, Struds?
100%. And so for anyone who's this team quit on each other tonight, did they quit on each other last night when they were down to Dallas and they came back against a really good team? Like, right. You can't say they're quitting on each other when the night before they didn't quit on it. Like it just, they're tired. They're humans. They're human beings. And that sounds like an excuse, because it is. It's a legitimate excuse. Now, could they have played a more simple game? So could the message have been, let's be really good with managing the puck and our game management. So D-men, don't hang on to the puck, get it up the ice as quick as you can. Yeah, we can do that. Forwards, instead of just spinning around in circles in your own zone, watching the puck go from low to high or high to low, just get your stick in the lane, keep your toes pointed the right way, and maybe be, less running around, more standing still. Yep, I think that was something we do. Getting shooting lanes. Yep, I think we could have done that. Don't take needless penalties. Yep, you could have done that. But when you get tired, those are the types of mistakes you start making. And once it starts unraveling, I've been on unraveling, both where I've unraveled another team and where my team's unraveled, and there's nothing you can do. It's an absolute mess out there.
Okay, real positive in Olivier Rodrigue, who makes his NHL debut tonight, and we will talk about him in a few moments. But let's get some perspective from the guys that were in this game and the head coach and what he saw. So let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box. If it is time for a new furnace, garage heater, or hot water tank, or you're looking to beat the rush on getting new air conditioner for this summer, act now. The team over at Weiss, they're already noticing an increase in requests for AC, so you got to jump the queue. Get in there. Give them a call. Weiss Johnson is there for all your home comfort needs. Visit weiss-johnson.com today. And for all of you tonight, on a tough night, I present the extended Weiss Johnson jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local.
People need this, Zuby. Just let it breathe.
Count on experience to speak for itself. With Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Here is Chris Knobloch.
But in the first period, it was okay. It wasn't our best. Playing back-to-back against a team that was a little fresher. They're going to have more jump, more legs. And then, we survived the first period. I think it was okay. But in the second period, starts in the first shift, turn the puck over a couple times. We're forced to take a penalty. And then they score on that. And then we're just reeling after that. So, when we're missing some of our top players, and we're missing a few of them, and we're playing a back-to-back, it's just the importance of simplifying our game. And I think we got away with that.
Zach just said that overall team morale is still pretty high. With those guys out, how are you finding the team responding?
Yeah, you look at the positives of, maybe what happened around the league tonight. And but I guess it doesn't matter if we lose a one-goal game or a big one like tonight. But, I think the effort for the last few games has been really good. And, some of the games maybe could have went other ways. But tonight, we definitely didn't deserve to win tonight. And, hopefully that's just a one-off.
All right, hopefully that is just a one-off. Where was this comment? Podgolzin came in with a beauty. I don't know if Weiss or Johnson are one guy or two, but do they play goal? It's Dennis Johnson, and I do not believe that he is a goaltender. But nice job there, Podgolzin. I'm not piling on the goalie tonight, Struds. We've given them some excuses. We've talked about who's not in the lineup. I think we've tried to put some perspective on this loss. We've tried to calm things down, and you and I are guys who will chew into this group when they need to be chewed into. Absolutely, we will. So we're going to give them a little bit of quarter tonight. But with that said, let's dig into the mistakes, Struds. Let's dig into kind of what we saw and what went wrong specifically. So it's a power play goal on the 1-0 goal. I mean, what did you see there? Did Wallman look like he had to go high to low and didn't get back in time to cover the guy in front of the net there? Is that just because you've got one less guy than the other team?
So what happens? The puck goes from kind of the umbrella, goes up to the top and then over, and that player starts skating down. And Wallman rushes too far out, because when you go that far out, now leaves a lot of space behind you. Yeah. So all you have to do is go to a certain space, maybe the top of the circle, or the hash marks, and just stop him from coming in. So you hold your ground and get in the shooting lane. So he has to change his positioning. But by going up that far, he goes way up there. Now he can't get back in time for the pass that's ultimately made to the back door, and he's chasing it back. So it is a tough play, but you don't want to get too spread out or running around too much, and he's guilty of that on that play.
Here's a thought from starting over at 61. It's getting a little dark on everybody here. This is what the continuation of the decade of darkness would have been today if we hadn't drafted 29 and 97. This did have a little bit of decade of darkness feel to it tonight. You're looking at it going, yeah, they just do not have the horses. 2-0 goal, Wallman. Just a tough turnover, Struds, or did you see other stuff you didn't love?
Yeah, not at all. I have no problem with that play from Wallman. Look at the winger on the wall. Colson is standing right there. What does he do?
Right,
absolutely nothing. Who's Wallman supposed to pass to there? I don't understand what Paul Colson was doing. That is his job to get that puck on his stick. That's who Wallman's passing to. So I have no problem with what he did there. It's Paul Colson on the wall. That's your job. Get your stick on the ice. Be ready for the puck.
Okay, Wallman chases it into the corner. He has control. Podkolzin has his stick presented.
In the air. He's waving around like
threw it to the other guy. He just threw it to the wrong guy.
Podkolzin doesn't want that puck. Look at how he reacts. He's looking around like, no.
His stick is presented, Struds.
No, it's not. It's not
Are
on
you
the
looking
ice.
at it right now?
Yes, I've looked at it because I was having this argument with somebody else. Yeah, it's a tough. That's to me. That's all on.
Buddy.
I
mean, I know you're
not even a question.
To blame the forwards a little often, but I'm not sure I'm with you on that one, buddy.
It's not even a question. He needs to be presenting himself and ready for that pass. So
he is looking at him with his stick like this.
It's not. He wants no part of it. He wants no part of it.
I can't believe you think that.
Well, look the way his body's angled. Is his body angled ready for that pass?
We need to get a screenshot of this. You know what? There's nothing else that fun to talk about tonight, so we should just.
I have no issue at all.
Screenshot, Zuby, and Zuby, you throw this up here when you can.
Sure.
Because I believe, Struds, that this is a player presenting his stick for a pass, and it's a terrible screenshot.
Colson moves his stick out of the way. He actually gets it out of the way. Are we talking about the second goal
because it was a grenade that was thrown. It wasn't anywhere near him.
He passes hard passes. He's passing hard passes. That's what he does. We've talked about how hard he passes in this on here before. He has to pass it hard, get it by the guy. Paul Colson literally moves his stick out of the ice. Guess where it goes? Right to the guy's stick who's right behind him.
Yeah, so no, I see what you're saying there.
I'm not even debating. I'm not even debating this one. I'm not even debating this
screenshot. What I would say, Struds, is that Podkolzin is sitting there looking right at him, like, pass me the puck, and he missed him with the pass.
No, Podkolzin literally moves his stick out of the way. I'm not arguing with this one. Right. This one, it's not even a question.
You're not having it. Okay.
His stick is in the air. He's not ready for the pass. And as it comes, he lifts his stick out of the way. That's gross.
I'm giving Uncle Struddy the win on this one because I can tell you're not having it. So I'm going to give that one to you. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I know when not to poke the bear. I know there are times where we can play around and have fun, and then there's times where we just need to move the hell on, and that's where we're at right now. How about the 3-0 goal, Struds?
The tip in front.
Tip.
Wallman isn't covering anybody. That's his guy. He's got to slide over and tie up the stick. He doesn't tie it up. That's just maybe a little not being sharp, a little fatigued. So that's one for me that as a D man, it's pretty clear. The guy's just tipping by himself. It's like a practice drill in that moment.
Okay,
what did you see
4-0. What's that?
What did you see there?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. The 4-0 goal just felt like Kulak maybe lost his man there in front a little bit. Was there something previous to that though, or was that the main bogue?
Yeah, I think that's probably the main one. You can. I always look at the toes of the player. Where are his toes looking? And right now, his toes are looking at the player with the puck, and that's just a dangerous game, right? That's a dangerous spot to be in. Now it feels like we're really attacking the D here. I think the forwards weren't great, but unfortunately for D, you're the last guy that is always in front of it. The D had these have not reflected well on the D core for sure.
Yeah. Well then, I know you've always said that it's the easiest play on the planet to play the wing. And getting the puck out on the wall is the easiest thing ever. Well, a defenseman tried it once tonight and completely botched it. So, and I'm not trying to be hard on Troy Stetcher. I'm kind of clubbing him over the head to club you over the head. But maybe that play on the wall isn't quite as easy as defensemen think, Struds. Did we maybe learn that tonight?
So first off, he's put in a really bad spot. You're like, hey, we got to fill this lineup out. We'll play you as a forward. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were going to play as a forward. So they put him up as forward. He's there. And I used to do that. I absolutely hate it. What did he finish with? Like, well, I think he got a little extra at the end because it was such a bloodbath. But when I saw him halfway through the 30, it was like 5 minutes. Maybe he got to 7 or 8.
7:25. Yeah, 7:25.
I hate it. I absolutely. So I feel, he moves well. I absolutely hated being in that position. Now, to be fair, Emberson kind of just rims it, and Stetcher should have got into a different situation. But the problem is that there are Seattle Kraken players by themselves in front. What happened was that after Darnell Nurse got into the corner with his player, he kind of stretched. He led the stretching out of the zone. Maybe thought there'd be a play there to catch it up, and Emerson rims it to Stetcher. Stetcher's unable to handle it, and now Nurse is well above the puck, and the puck goes to the D-man, and they pop it down. Nice little play by Burakovsky. Nice pickup, actually. That was a really nice pickup.
Yeah.
And then it's in the back of the net. So, why Darnell stretched there, I'm not sure. Why Emerson rimmed it like that. Why Stetcher was unable to pick it up. It's unfortunately 3D and involved in a play.
Mr. Gerbic says, just went and watched the goal. Struds was one, I think he's got billion. There's 7 or 8 zeros there. 1 billion% right. Pods moved his stick right out of the way. So Mr. Gerbic is on Team Strudwick tonight.
What does Blommer think? Blommer, let me know. Send me a note.
Blomsky, what do you think? What does Blommerino think about that goal? Actually, I saw Blommer taking a victory lap earlier on in the chat, something about him suggesting Demko is a trade candidate or something, and he's taken some sort of victory lap about that. The chat's gotten a little bit off the rails here.
Oh, I bet.
All right, and then the 6-1 goal gets batted out of the air. I don't know if there's anything notable or needs to be said there. A lot of D-on-D violence tonight here, Struds, with your analysis.
Yeah. The problem, it is a bit unfair. Like I said, when you're playing in your zone and you're under pressure, you ultimately are the one that gets caught. But I felt that the D-men as a whole weren't moving the puck crisply enough or quick enough. And quick means you get it and you know your play before you even get to it. Move it, just get it up the ice as quick. But the forwards weren't really ready either. Case in point, Paul Colson, not to beat him up, even Stetcher. Like those are two that are easily correctable in that moment. So this was a team loss. I'm not at all pinning this on the D. This was the team loss where everyone was involved and just not quite sharp because I believe they were fatigued.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not just pinning it on the D. You're pinning some of the D mistakes on the forwards as well. So you're giving it to everybody, buddy. You're giving it to everybody.
Everyone's wearing it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Zuby, let's give him the jingle one more time. People need it. It's been a tough night. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Zach Hyman post-game in discussion.
We just stopped working, made too many mistakes, and they capitalized on a bunch of them. So our game, the foundation is work, and if we're not working, especially the guys out in the lineup, we don't really have a chance. So I thought we just let our game slip a little bit there, and then they took advantage.
With Jeff's goal that was called off at the end of the first period, did you guys feel like that was deflating at all heading into the second?
It happens. Like, we would like for it to stand and count, and obviously it brings momentum, but you got to be able to handle those swings.
Starting over at 61 says, in Struddy's world, everybody was a forward tonight. Yes, that's very true. Nobody was trustworthy on this night tonight.
That's hilarious. Who said that? That's a good one.
Who said that? Starting over at 61. Said,
oh, damn. He's on fire today. That's a good one.
He is. He is absolutely bringing the thunder. Oil Leak says, Weiss Johnson theme song needs to be played after every goal against in Rogers Place. No. It's way too positive a jingle to be 100%. Playing after goals against. Never trust a forward. Dylan Holloway is reminding everybody. Okay. Well, I don't know. We've piled on enough here, and Brownie will just hop in, and he'll end up doing the same. So let's talk a little Olivier Rodrigue, shall we? Struds, talk about the situation that he would have encountered over the last 24 hours or so, because at a certain point, on short notice, kid had to get on a plane and probably feeling pretty excited. And then as the goals are piling in, he's probably sitting there going, this might happen. This might happen.
Are they going to put me in? Because you want to look down at the coach, but you're not really looking at him, right? Like, is this happening? You're like, do I go in now? Like, I might have pulled pick a little earlier than that. I think there was a timeout, the normal timeout. I don't want to say 6-7 minutes left in the second. I might have just slipped Rodrigue in there quietly, so it's not an embarrassing for Pickard, and it's kind of downplayed for Rodrigue, because at that point, let's get him in there, see what he can do. Let it get his beak wet, as people like to say often. And so he gets in there, and the third period, he has 2 really hard shots to stop right off the hop. No easy ones from the point. He's taking grenades right away, and he makes a couple good saves. And I think all in all, he should be happy with the way it went. Got a number of saves. Got NHL action, knows what it's like, and he looked pretty calm to me in there.
I loved his first save. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Because that was not an easy save, man. That was a tough save, dragging the leg, gets it down, squeezes it. That could have easily gone in. And if that goes in, and I know he's young, and but it that could have had a bit of a Dmitry Samorukov feel to it if that goal goes in and then 2 more go in and it goes the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was a great save, and important for him to make a cool save like that early.
And unfortunately for him, it wasn't like the team was really playing well. So it's not like they could insulate him. When when that night, was it the E-Bug went in down in Carolina? I remember they kind of insulated him. They were blocking shots, but they were playing pretty well. If I remember correctly, I believe they were winning in that situation. So you kind of protect the guy. Well, the Oilers just didn't have their A game going or their B game, so they were in no position to be like, hey, guys, let's lock this down for him. And I think it maybe changed energy a little bit, and might have changed if they'd done in the second. Like I said, I would have done that, what is it, the second or third TV timeout in the second period.
Yeah. Chris Knobloch on the tender.
He made a lot of big saves. He looked engaged. The rebound control was good. And his agility makes some really big saves. So it was nice to see him. It would have been nice to see him have an easy period, but he was tested with some big ones. It was nice to see that he can do it.
Back to Zach Hyman.
He was amazing. I thought he made a bunch of phenomenal saves. Just a weird, crazy, crazy bounce that they scored on. But yeah, saved all the ones he could save, and some of them were really hard ones.
All right, time to rock and roll into our Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health, the foundation for growth and success, and it is the key to thriving, not just surviving. They've got 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions. Their youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. It's a great organization. We're super pumped to be partnered with them. We are monthly donors at Got Your Back. Encourage you to do the same. ucan.ca to donate today. Struds?
I don't know. I honestly, this is the first time I don't know, and I have one. I'm not
Holloway then. Couple of goals for Holloway tonight. Just go with that.
I know.
Just empty the
fine.
chat right out. Just clean the whole show out of all the listeners.
I wrote down no clue, and I put Olivier Rodrigue because he's been hanging. It's taken a number of years to get to this point, so he's been relentless to trying to get to NHL. So congratulations, but it's not my best work. But I honestly, I didn't have one, buddy. That's as good as I could do. I apologize.
Yeah, it hasn't been your best work in general tonight, I would say. So this is holding firm with you.
No, I've been.
Some of your analysis is a little
the
jaded. You came in knowing you were going to have to be hard on the D-men tonight, so you purposely went out of forward unnecessarily.
But everyone in the stream agrees with me. Podkolzin was not ready for that pass and didn't want it. Didn't want it at that moment. That's a clear sign you don't want it.
capital letter says, we need Hollywood and Broberg. Yes, the pain of that is real. Another big night from Dylan Holloway. Congratulations, Olivier Rodrigue. You get the UCAN Youth Services Relentless Player of the Night. Zuby, did you come up with a poll? Starting over at 61 says, relentless player tonight is any Oiler fan that stomached all 60 minutes of this game. Yeah, it was a slog. Honestly, it was a slog. It was like chewing through, I don't know, a piece of gristle. It was a tough one to get through. Zuby, what do you got, buddy, for De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll? Heading down to De Boer's tomorrow. Going to meet with Scotty, talk a little bit. Might have to get some apparel going. Wouldn't it be great if you could go into De Boer's and buy some Got Your Back apparel? Let's see if I can convince Scotty to do something like that with us. Great spot, helping you play better golf as always. Visit them at 5311 99th Street here in town. Fantastic crew down at De Boer's. There's Brownie just in time for our De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Zuby?
All right, here we go. Taking the temperature of things. 10 games left until playoffs. This is to the fans, of course. What's your big picture view of this team right now? The options are, if healthy, they're as good as last year. Option 2 is they'll go as far as 97 or 29, take them. And we'll say 97 and 29, take them. Option 3, they'll go as far as the goalies allow them to go. And option 4, my confidence in this team is shaken.
All right, there you go. So fire in your answers, and sometime later in the show, at a random time that we decide, we will reveal the results of the YouTube poll. I think it'd be funny if we just bring Brownie in and don't let him say a word. We'll be right back here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Hi, Brownie.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Rich in YYC says, I usually listen on Spotify the next day. First time live and seeing the animations, very smooth, Zuby. I would concur. Best in the business, best looking show in town. Zuby is a champ. Time now for our takeaways. You bet, buddy. We got you. Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. John Deere tractors are more affordable than you'd think, starting at $254 a month. Really? $254 a month for a tractor? 0% financing for 84 months. Currently available on select John Deere compact tractors. Stop by your local Horizon Ag and Turf today to view their inventory. Line up or visit them online at horizonagandturf.com. I don't know a lot about tractors, but that seems like not a lot to have to pay to own one on a month-to-month basis. Brownie, Struds and I just, we knocked it around for that whole first segment. I see it was a struggle to even just get through watching that game. You've got a forlorn look on your face right now that tells me maybe you felt the same. I don't know. I don't even know what to ask you. I'm just going to say talk for a little bit and give me your thoughts on, how much of an excuse should the Oilers be allowed to take tonight?
Well, they're missing a lot of good players. They had a terrible schedule. They got in very, very late. And they played terrible. Like, it was just bad. And fatigue, back-to-back games, I don't think are as hard anymore as they used to be. A, the players are in better shape. B, the way they fly is way different than when I played and we were flying commercial. So I don't think it really bothers them as much until you're chasing a game. And I think when Seattle scored the second goal in the second period, all of a sudden the Oilers' legs felt a little tired. the brains got a little foggy and the big mistakes just started happening over and over again, because there were a lot of dumb mistakes made tonight by Oiler players that don't usually make them, by veteran players like Adam Hendrick turning the puck over in his zone right in front, Wallman a couple plays, Bouchard getting beat one-on-one by a guy who's fourth liner at best. I mean, there's a lot of big mistakes. So I toss this out as the Oilers had a bad night. And the Oilers had a bad night without 97 or 29 somehow covering up for it. So there wasn't where you could have a special night by Connor that has a 4-point night and it covers up the really bad night by a number of other players. So to me, they were terrible. And I think the score was pretty indicative of the way the game went.
Struds, we want to let Brownie break the tie on that goal that you and I were.
He already did
arguing
in the
about.
chat. He did in our
We did.
group
We
chat.
talked about it. At first, I thought it was an absolutely horrendous play by Wallman. I watched the replay after my friend Jason said Podkolzin has got to make an effort. And I watched the replay, and Podkolzin actually lifted his stick to get out of the way. He lifted, I don't know what he was doing. I think it was a bad pass by Wallman, but Podkolzin at some point could have touched the puck or at least made an effort to it so that it wouldn't have been a tape-to-tape pass by Wallman to, who was it that got it? Schwartz? I think was the guy that got it. So to me, it was, I'm going to go 60% Podkolzin fault, 40% Wallman's.
There it is. That's a win.
Really? 60-40. See, I think part of the reason why he moved his stick is because the pass was so garbage. He was like, no way, that's for me. Like, I don't want to accidentally touch that. He's clearly not passing it to me.
I do believe Podkolzin thought it was for someone else. I do believe
that's
that.
why he
was
raised
100
his
miles
stick,
an hour.
because he's like, well, I'm getting out of the way of that one. It's not for me.
But having said that, you've got to read the situation. You're the left winger. There would be nobody else around. I mean, that had to be to you. So, I mean, Wallman did not have a good game. I mean, Wallman, he is high event. He is a high event defenseman. He makes some great passes. He makes some really poor defensive reads. And he's brave. He is not afraid to get in front of a shot. Yeah, so high event player with a very strong bravery quotient to his hockey game. The game is always exciting when Wallman is on the ice.
He's getting a little sloppy, Struds? Like little bit more of that. I thought he had her buttoned down pretty tight for the first number of games. And I mean, it's natural. Like, it's natural. He's a high event player, has the puck a lot, but it's loosening up a bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I today I was specifically watching him and the way he moves, and he is a really good skater, but I don't know that his skates stop that often. They're constantly in movement, and I think that's a challenge when you're a D-man. You've got to be a little bit more deliberate with your starts and stops to kind of be in the right spot.
Yeah. So Trizent chimes in. He's a regular here, and he says, how many 2-1 losses has Shaugger had to Brown and Struddy this season? I think is what he's wanting to say. So I assume he's talking about last night and deciding to give me the loss on the goaltending discussion. I don't know, guys. It's quite often you two against me, I suppose, upon reflection.
Is this only when you're wrong, though?
Planned?
Only when you're wrong. When you're right, we agree with you.
Yeah.
Only when I'm wrong. I don't know. Zuby, is this the right time to pull out the trump card on last night's argument? Have we talked enough about tonight's game that I can, and it'll look like I'm doing this to posture. It'll look like I'm doing this, I'm the host of the show. I get to pick the content. If I don't like the way an argument went, I can go gather evidence against you guys, and it's going to look like that. Because that's exactly what it is.
You know what? I think I got to stop you, Shaugger. I don't think you should pull out that trump card because I don't have it ready.
Oh, you didn't get it?
Well, we talked about it this morning.
It's a conspiracy. It's 3 of you against me. How do you not get that?
Because we haven't talked about it since this morning. I've done 6 podcasts in 3 days. My brain's not working. I can get it.
My plan has been foiled.
I can get it, though.
Basically, guys, Chris Pronger. No, it's fine, Zuby. It's fine. Chris Pronger was on Ray and Dregs. And Pronger, being the Neanderthal he is, like me, had some words that the Oilers needed to do a little bit better job of that. So I was trying to bring Chris Pronger to my defense, and it's completely fallen short and totally backfired. And now I just look like a loser again.
I could play the Ray and Dregs promo, the Pronger promo. I could snag that pretty quick.
That's fine. No, it's fine. I'm cooked here. It's gonna fall flat like my joke. It's not.
Sorry, buddy.
Look at Struddy's face. He's just there's nothing there. He's got he's.
Well, I also have something. I was on Overdrive today. We had Darren Pang on, longtime analyst and NHL goalie. I didn't ask the question someone else asked. He said that's nothing. It was an incidental contact. I didn't have to say anything else. I'm like,
Yeah.
Was that an
I'll see
NHL
your-
goaltender that said that? Strud, an NHL goalie said that, huh?
well, he was. I mean, not forever, but he was.
I love Panger. He's one of my favorite people. I love Darren Pang as an analyst, and obviously knows his stuff. As he agreed. Now it's 3-1, and you can have Pronger on your team. We still win 3-2.
You know who else I got on my team though? Corey Perry. So I've got 2 Hall of Famers.
Well, you know what we have on our team? The other 29 players that play for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, apparently you do. I'm not taking that loss. We're sawing that off at a draw at worst. I'll take the loss tonight on the pod goals and thing, but I'm not taking the loss from last night. I refuse. Okay, Brownie, what did you think of Rodrigue? I mean, it had to be nervous moments for him and kind of a crazy 15 hours, eh?
But what a way to be welcome to the NHL. First of all, okay, you're going in for the third period, and I know the team playing in front of you has been horrendous for 40 minutes, but we're hoping they play better for you. Oh, and also they're on a power play, and his first shot on net is a one-timer from Jared McCann that was an absolute bomb. If he never plays another National Hockey League game, and I hope he does, but if he never does, I really hope that they somehow have a picture of that save. He stopped it going the opposite way with his back foot, keeping it out of the net. That was unbelievable. Like I'm watching. That was the only exciting thing of this game tonight. I'm like, oh my, that was awesome. So I hope he has a career in the NHL. I do. But if that is his one highlight, wow, that was pretty fantastic. So and he played well. Had no chance on the goal against. Jared McCann had about 4 chances on him in the third period. Good on him. Honestly, good on him. I'm glad they played him. I was hoping they would. I said on our thing after the second period, I think that to me, the smart thing was give the kid an opportunity. They did, and I thought he played well.
Aaron St. Pierre said, didn't Rodrigue play the day before for Bakersfield too? I actually don't know that if that's the case or not. But
he did play the day before, but you're playing 20 minutes in the NHL. I think you got the energy to be able to play that game.
You can
some
play
adrenaline.
2 weeks in a row of games, and you get called NHL. You're playing like you're flying out there. Like that's totally different situation. Mr. St.
Starting over at 61 chimes in and says Panger also says never trust a defenseman. That is his mantra. I've heard him say that multiple times.
He never
before you throw all your eggs in the Panger basket.
He never says that.
And then Michael East Coast says Pronger opinion is like 3 votes. So he thinks I should get 3 votes for having Pronger.
That is, he is pretty good, that kid.
He is. His best line was, if you got to take a suspension, take a suspension. And Ray and Drex both started laughing. It was like, like Chris Pronger, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Pronger. Yeah. We'll have to get him on Got Your Back here one of these nights. I was asking him if he'd be up for it. I think maybe there's a chance we can make that happen. So we'll see about that. Zuby, let's do a ticket giveaway. We're running out of steam breaking this game down here. So let's get that ticket giveaway done. So this is a pair of tickets to Saturday night's game, the Battle of Alberta. It's in the club, the Play Alberta Club. So this is courtesy our good buddies over at Play Alberta. And so Zuby, I basically just said get a trivia question together. What we're going to do is DM us the answer on our Got Your Back X feed. DM us the answer. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to gather all the right answers, and we're going to draw one from there, and we'll get in touch with you on Twitter. So if you're listening in podcast form and it is Friday morning, you've still got a chance. DM us on Twitter. Zuby, what do you got for a question, buddy?
And our Twitter handle, by the way, is @GotYourBackPod. For anyone
@GotYourBackPod. There you go.
Okay, I've made this one hopefully really simple. We'll see how many people get this one. Going back a little ways, and this is a little something personal for me. Which former Edmonton Oilers goalie was nicknamed Peaches? And there might be a little hint just above my head if you can see it close enough. You'll have to look.
All right. Sounds good. So DM that to us at Got Your Back Pod on X. And if there are any right answers, if anybody gets that right, 2 tickets, courtesy our friends over at Play Alberta. So we will get back to you on Twitter tomorrow. Also, starting over at 61, just shot us a note. Guess he's going to be in town on April 11th. He is one of our most cherished watchers and listeners. He was asking about some Got Your Back swag. Starting over, DM us on X as well, and we will figure out a way to get a hat or something your way. So just shoot us a DM. That was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. When we come back, we got Brownie Points, we got Struddy's World. We'll take a lap, ask us anything, core Blue Liners as well. So lots of show left here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. We'll be right back.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at sequelandentistry.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here, someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
Yes, it is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products, Alberta's #1 vinyl product supplier. They offer top quality materials, building a fence or a deck that will not rot, it will not fade or fall apart on you. And if you need a skilled contractor to take care of the job, or if you want to do it yourself, they can help set you up with everything that you need. Canadian owned and operated, confirmed. They are my brothers, Rick and Rob. They got locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Check them out today online, dlrvinylproducts.ca. Struddy.
I was in the zone today, boys. No, it wasn't because I was charming, or no, because the way I was running my kids around this, the city, dropping them off at different places, a good workout. No, none of that. It is when it comes to my garbage organization. And this is one of the first times it's ever worked out like this. So my garbage is on Thursday morning, and I finally got it where I got just the right amount of garbage into all the bins. But more importantly, all the garbage I was bringing out from the house in the bags, they were full. Usually I got to do it where it's a half full. I'm like, do I take it out or do I wait for next week? I'm not sure what's going to happen. This time they're all full. I brought them out. They all fit in perfectly in the garbage, put it down. So now all my garbages are empty with brand new bags. The recycling, everything, it all fit on there. Perfect. It felt like I hit a hole in one. I'm not kidding you. I was absolutely in the zone, and I was kind of strutting around the neighborhood at like 6:30 this morning when I was looking around. No one was looking at me, unfortunately. But do you guys ever experience that where it's like the garbage perfection of putting it all together at the right time?
I'm not sure I get as excited about it. A lot of times when I'm taking my garbage out on our Friday, every second Friday, I'm putting it in my neighbor's because we've got too much in our big garbage can. So I'm trying to find room in my neighbor's garbage can to be able to fit some of our garbage in. So I don't feel that perfection, Struds. I would like to. Maybe there's a day you do a master class, a TED talk or something that we could all like just come be part of. I'd really enjoy that.
It's a good feeling.
I'm with you on this one. Struds.
You've done it?
Sunday night is the night that it gets done around here. It's my job to do it, although Randine will tell you that more often than not, because we're podcasting, she'll end up being the one to do it. But when you have that last bag, you're taking it out from the house, and you have exactly that much space left in the top of the bin, and you drop that thing in there, And you drop that lid, Struds, and it is like it's on there. It's not sitting
sealed.
up.
Yeah.
There's no orange ribbon from the garbage bag hanging out. And you roll that thing down and it just slides perfectly into place. It's perfectly balanced because the weight is distributed properly. I'm 1,000% with you on this. Also, I do not like it when we're pulling half full garbage bags out from the house. I like them to be plump and full. So, buddy, you are singing my tune on this one. I hate 90% of these segments. This one, I am right there with you, buddy. Like right there with you.
So 2 a month, you're like, no, I'm telling you guys, it's the best feeling. It's the best feeling. And now my garbage is empty. All the garbages are empty. It's perfect. And I've got another 2 weeks till we take it out again. But yeah, it's such a good feeling. God, is that a good feeling?
Zuby, how's the stream feeling about this? And who takes care of the garbage in your family? JL says this is like the perfect pump at a gas station. What's the perfect pump at a gas station? What are we talking about there?
Probably when you end up right at the exact number.
Yeah.
Like
when you release
$30 or 40 or 50.
You release it and with 3 zeros on the end there, or 4 zeros, depending on the.
Yeah. Crowbar 5555 says great story to help me fall asleep.
Yeah. Oil League
says always count on Struds.
When Struddy goes off topic, you know it was a rough night in oil country.
Yeah. Well, what you guys don't hear in the break, I'm like, hey, Struds, we're going with a light Struddy's world, right? And he's like, yeah, I can think of something. So we literally just made that up. And Struds is super garbage man, says Simple 101.
The Blommer's kind of taken up, he's taken up in the absence of Northern Farm Girl, he's taken up some of her
the emojis,
some of the things we recognize from her writing style. Garbage needs balance, huh?
I like it. Why is this like golf for you? Yeah. All right. Well, that was Struddy's world, and I do think that Rick and Rob at DLR would both be on the same page as you and I, Struds. I think we all share that in common. They're pretty diligent with that stuff as well. So Struds, Brownie, I would say you lost this one, Brownie. It's Rick and Rob and Ryan and Jason against Rob Brown. So we're even. You and I are even on the show.
Play
today.
with your garbage. That I will give you that win. I will throw my garbage in other people's garbage and feel fully confident that I had a good time too.
Matt Blom chimes in and says, thanks, Zuby, for promoting that. Fell super flat with the boys. So I feel like Matt was feeling like his bit wasn't working in the chat, Zuby. Is that what he's saying?
I think it's been working in the chat. I just said back to him, I guess it needed more context. You need to see that there was some chat. Northern Farm Girl's not here, so he's been kind of taking up her writing style. Maybe it's more of a visual. Maybe it's more of a visual art.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blommer. You know I'm never trying to do the Blommer dirty.
Blommer's joke went over like Shaugger's. Why do you have $40 in your pants?
That's not the punchline. Don't get the punchline wrong.
We never heard a punchline. I didn't know he had a punchline.
All right, that's enough out of both of you donkeys. Roll the happy music, Zuby. Let's do brownie points so we can kick Brownie the hell off this show. Time now for brownie points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Did you know the ultimate game day snack is Canadian owned and operated? It is. I actually had some today, by the way. Open in 1962 right here in Alberta. Support Canadian business and get this great deal going. 2 pounds of jerky for $70 and a free bonus quarter-pound mystery flavor pack with free shipping Alberta-wide. For details, visit albertajerky.com. If you enter the code GOTYOURBACK, you will get 10% off. Just me, or was I looking a little beefy in that picture, Struts? Looking a little summer weight on in that picture?
Do you take coupons?
Round in the cheeks?
Why do you have $40 in your pocket? Like,
the punchline was not, why do you have $40 in your pocket?
Is that a roll of toonies in your pocket? What is that? What's the punchline again? I can't stop thinking about it.
No, I'm not doing it. Why would I say the punchline again so you could purposely not laugh again? Why would I do that and subject myself
We promise
to
we'd
that?
laugh this time. We would promise.
Will you?
Laugh.
Yeah. Just,
okay.
just a punchline. He comes home.
So he's like, yeah, this I got $20 from the guy that threw up on me, and she's like, well, what's the other $20 for? And he goes, that's for the guy that shit in my pants.
Yeah, so he has $40 basically.
You didn't laugh. You didn't laugh
That's why it's
again.
$40. Strudge was right. There's $40 in your pocket.
Yeah, why is there
Why
$40
did you
in your
tell me
pocket?
you would laugh?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I can't
Well,
believe
I
you
was
made me
waiting
do
for
that
the
again and I
punchline.
didn't.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard the punchline. I haven't heard the funny part yet. When you get to the funny part, we'll all laugh.
2 brownie points. I'll be back in a minute. I'm out. I've had it with you guys. I'm out.
Can you break a 50?
Oh, that's funny. All right, we got 22 brownie points to Philadelphia Flyer rookie phenom Matvei Michkov, who on the day that his coach John Tortorella gets fired, Michkov responds with 2 goals, giving him 22 on the season and an assist. No player on the Flyers spent more time in John Tortorella's doghouse than the young Russian. I do not believe this young Russian is going to lose any sleep over John Tortorella being fired today. I got 51 brownie points to Troy Stetcher, who had the funniest line of the night. I don't know if you guys listened to the game on radio tonight, but he's interviewed between periods. After the first period, Cam Moon asked him, what is the hardest part from moving defense to forward? Stetcher said nothing. He says you don't even have to think when you're playing wing.
Did he say that?
Which turned out to be really funny. Yeah, he said that, which turned out to be really funny because in the second period, he screws up on the boards as a winger and causes a goal against. But he literally said you don't even have to think when you're playing wing. I was laughing and I was a winger. Anyways, I got 92 brownie points to the Dallas Stars goaltending tandem of DeSmith and Ottinger, who faced 44 and 48 shots against in the last 2 games and came away with 2 wins in Alberta. Dallas was outplayed in Edmonton. Dallas was outplayed in Calgary, but goaltending is a great equalizer and got them 2 victories. Tonight, DeSmith with 46 saves, I think, in Calgary. I got 8 brownie points to the St. Louis Blues. They extend their winning streak to 8 straight as Dylan Holloway scores 2 goals, I believe his 25th and 26th of the seasons, and that helps the Blues with their playoff chances, and they get a come-from-behind victory in Nashville. And one, this is a huge brownie point to Olivier Rodrigue. Gets his first taste of National Hockey League hockey. He finishes with 7 saves on 8 shots. He had no chance on the goal against, and the first shot that he had on net was an absolute thing of beauty as he saved Jared McCann on a one-timer from the offside. So congratulations and a big brownie point to Olivier Rodrigue.
All right. An average edition of brownie points brought to you by Hamel's.
Can I e-transfer you?
That's not the way the joke goes either. Oh my god! I can't believe you guys convinced me to tell the punchline again and said you'd laugh and left me hanging twice.
I didn't know that was the punchline though. That's the thing. I was waiting for the funny part. I haven't gotten to it yet.
I can't believe I bet. All right, Brownie, you get out of here, buddy. Thank you kindly for this. Let's talk after the Battle of Alberta, shall we?
Sounds good. Night, guys.
All right, beat it. Get out of here. That is the great Rob Brown. Struds, let's jump into a scoreboard, shall we? Brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at a fantastic 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. I don't know who took a tougher loss tonight. Me on this show or Utah, buddy?
Oh, that was crazy. Lightning 8-0 over Utah. Just an absolute spanking. I was watching some of that game. It was a disaster. Like just an absolute disaster. So
if you click onto that event summary and you look at Utah, it's like -3, -3, -3, -5, -4, -3. Like everybody is dashes hard tonight.
I looked at Michael Sergachev, the former Lightning. He was -4, and that you just feel sick when your old teammates light you up like that. Huge win for the Sens, 4-3 over the Red Wings. That was a really, really big one. They got in regulation, which is even better for them. The Blues, they obviously won a game 3-2. That's another one. They keep their win streak rolling. Helpful for the Oilers that the Avalanche had a really good game against the Kings. So for that, they don't lose any ground on them. And then the Stars beat the Flames 5-2. I watched a lot of that game as well. I thought the Flames played really well, much like the Oilers did last night. And then Maple Leafs are down 5-3. get it back to 5-5 in overtime. Nothing's decided, so the Sharks go to a shootout, and some of their young studs, Smith and Celebrini, have some really nice goals. Go and watch them. They're really nice, really nice. And so Leafs get one much important point, but the Sharks get 2.
So the Flames on Saturday night, Struds, they mentioned in the broadcast tonight, I don't know if Leon can get himself ready or not. I don't know. It feels to me like just make sure, give it the time. I would be more concerned with him getting back. If he can get back anytime soon, I'd say let it breathe till the Vegas game. What do you think?
I don't think, well, just my personal opinion, there's no one's coming to help, right? There's no help. Maybe Ekholm, it was a maintenance game. I didn't really understand, just a night off, I guess, for the big guy. But there's no real help coming in the short term. Long term, yes. Short term, no. So this group is going to get some rest. Day off for sure tomorrow. I guess then they fly to Calgary tomorrow, get themselves rested, sleep, get up and ready. And just, I hope they parked it after this loss. Said, guys, this was just a really bad game. It was rough. We were tired. It was not good. Let's get back and let's bring it to Calgary, because Calgary to me is, they've got Kadri who's scoring and some other guys, but they don't have a ton of skill. They work hard. So be ready. If the Oilers play like they did Wednesday night against Dallas, we're looking at a good game here. Not guaranteed win, but it's a really good game, because that's how Calgary plays, hard.
Yeah, and that game's here, eh? Just a heads up. I'm not sure if you were thinking it was in Calgary, but there's a home game for the Oilers on Saturday.
Yeah.
No problem.
I was thinking it was Calgary. Oh, because they go on the road again after. My bad.
Yeah, they leave right after that.
Good, thanks for that. You're right. For some reason I thought it was there.
You bet. All right, that was a scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Before we get to the break, let's dive into our core Blue Liners segment. Each night we ask Struds to pay little extra attention to a specific defenseman and apply his D-first brain to his analysis, and that's brought to you by HSE Core Services, run by Tom Lesko, who regularly schools Struddy on the tennis court. It's not pretty. Yes. Has he had the advantage lately, Struds, or how's that been going with Tom?
Yeah, he's moving pretty well. So I think I got to get back into a little bit heavier, some heavier lessons, because the guy gets it done. He's good. Hard, big serve. A little bit
deeper skill level, more experience.
We were playing doubles. He almost hit me with the serve. I'm like, what's up, man? It literally just brushed me back from the plate. But he wasn't even serving to me. That's the crazy part. I was just standing there, minding my own business.
That's aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's HSE Core Services. So they've got your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. They create and manage a tailored health and safety program that will meet all legislation and core requirements. They support client operations every step of the way. So the website is www.hsecor.com. If for no other reason, go check it out, because this is the guy that pumps Struddy regularly on the tennis court.
Vince Dunn.
Vinny D.
Vinny, yeah. Good pickup by them. Not a huge guy. Moves pretty well. But this guy plays on his toes. I like the way he plays the game. He runs the power play. Even though they have Brandon Montour, he seems to be the guy recently that's been running their power play. He loves to jump in, go back door. He is on his toes. He's constantly moving, trying to get around the ice. Pretty good passer. But again, not the biggest guy. Not sure that's the best setup. He's got a couple of years left on his deal after this one at $7 million. But he, when I think of him, I think of a player who's on his toes and wanting to go forward, either to jump in the play and or create offense with the puck on the stick.
Yeah. I like the competitiveness too there. You talk about him not being the biggest guy, but he's actually got some jam and a little grit to his game that I kind of like. He's feisty. He's fiery for a smaller guy.
You know, it's funny. I actually would compare him to Wallman. Wallman kind of has some swagger and a little bit like I'm better than you attitude. And most players do have that. It just doesn't express itself when they're playing. But I think those two guys, they kind of show it in similar ways. They just kind of have some arrogance, which, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all.
Yeah. +4 for Vince Dunn tonight.
That's
points
nice
night,
feeling.
a rare points night, and positive plus-minus night for Seattle against the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers normally dominate this team, and the Kraken went out and grabbed a bunch of that back tonight with a win. All right, that was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Get your questions in for Ask Us Anything. That's coming up in our next segment as well. We're going to take a couple of laps, so lots still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
All right, welcome back to the show. Time to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Acon. So if you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional and you are looking for work, Acon wants to hear from you. They have openings, and fire a resume at them. The email address is trades@acon.com. That's trades@acon.com. They have openings all across Western Canada. As I said, skilled tradesperson or construction professional. If you want to go work for one of Canada's original industrial contractors and build what matters today, send your resume to trades@acon.com. Struds, a firing today.
Hiring John Tortorella out of Philadelphia. They replaced him with their assistant coach, Brad Shaw. Listen, he never felt like the right fit there. To me, that was a rebuild. I don't know that John Tortorella is a rebuilding kind of coach. Knowledgeable, has had success in the league, but like bringing along young players, understanding how they function, and then understanding that unfortunately losing is a part of the process. I don't think Torts can work in that environment. He lasted a while. There's 9 games left. He's out. Does he get another job? Maybe, he's maybe someone views him as a closer. Yeah, as a closer. But I just never felt it was a right fit there with the Flyers, Shaugger, and he's out.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a right fit with that management group, although, lots of respect paid on the way out. Zuby, do you still have that sound from him in your board from Ray and Dregs earlier today? Or did you blow it out of there?
From whom? From
Torts.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You still have that one? Struds, did you hear this the other night? Tortorella postgame after yet another loss by Philadelphia? So for those of you that didn't have a chance to hear this is Tortorella after yet another frustrating loss the other night. I can't help but wonder, Struds, if maybe this didn't have something to do with tipping the scales as to if they were thinking, should we, shouldn't we? Because we heard they wanted to wait to the end of the season. Well, when your coach starts talking like this, does he give you much choice? Go ahead, Zuby.
These last 2 games, are you sensing frustration setting in? Maybe it's a cumulative effect from last week playing well and not getting results?
Well, when you're in this type of situation and you're losing all the time and there's nothing at the end of the tunnel for you, there's certainly going to be some frustration. But this falls on me. I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now. But I have to do a better job. So this falls on me, getting the team prepared to play.
So there's accountability in there, which you like, and he was accountable in one of his previous comments there as well. But when he says, I really have no interest in learning how to coach through this time of year, in other words, garbage time where you're out of the playoffs and really there's nothing for anybody to care about or play for and no lessons to be taken and no value. Like, I get it, Torts, you want to be in the playoffs. You can't just muck the last month of a season because you're disinterested. And that's what that sounded like to me, Struds. No interest in whatever lessons there might be left to learn for his players this season.
This is where you have to really understand that your job is to build the young players up, that get them into a situation for them to have success. Can you work on them with more stuff before or after practice, video, on ice sessions, get them stronger? Like, that's the job. And I get it. That's not for everyone. That I get excited by that because you're trying to build towards something. Unfortunately, if you build it, probably someone else takes it. The last little ways that we've seen with other rebuilds. But yeah, I don't believe he was a fit for this job. And I think there are coaches for closers for long times, short times, and then those for rebuilds. And he is not a rebuild kind of guy or a long time kind of guy.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm sure the media is going to miss him desperately.
Probably jump back into it right away. Second one, Sidney Crosby broke a Gretzky record today. We talked about this the other day on Struddy's World. He and Wayne Gretzky were tied for the 19 seasons, both with points per game seasons. So that means if you played 60 games, you get over 60 points and on, whatever the number is. And that includes years where Sid was injured and or the lockouts and COVID. Well, he just broke it tonight. He got a goal that took him over the threshold.
Awesome.
So he'll be more than a point a game. So 20 seasons, he's had more than a point a game, which is pretty incredible model of consistency. Crazy. Yeah, really well done. And a couple more years he'll do as well, probably, I'm guessing.
I was sitting in the press box the other night with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell of Hello Hockey fame and Edmonton Sports Talk. And Bellsy was on that World Junior team like way back in the day, North Dakota. And I went and covered that tournament. And that was when Sid was super young. And obviously he was a big deal back then. But we were reflecting on that team and how good that team was. And Corey Perry was on that team as well. If you remember, he made it as the 13th forward. Nathan Horton was injured. Nathan Horton got hurt in a fight. And so Corey Perry made that team. And you remember that game against the Russians, Struds? Like how hard they were on Ovechkin. I think Patrice Bergeron belted him. And just how hard those players all were on Ovechkin in that game.
Yeah, that was a great team. There were some really good teams there for a little while. But what Sid's done is incredible. And he and Ovechkin walk through the front doors of the Hall of Fame when they're done. They've both done great things for the game and carried the torch and really lived up to what they were expected of them for sure.
Yeah. Matt Blom, talking about Hello Hockey, says, I can't go on that pod. I made a terrible video game mistake when I accused Sean Bell of being slow in NHL 2006, and he rightly yelled at me that speed was his best score. Yeah, Bellsy had wheels, Struds. That's the guy definitely had wheels.
Strong on his skates, man. He's a strong guy. Big, strong, and fast. He can move.
Yeah. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. Zuby, hop in, my friend, and wrap up the results of our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center.
It was a close one. The question was 10 games left until playoffs. What's your big picture view of this team right now? They'll go as far as 29 and 97. Take them. 29% of the vote. My confidence in this team is shaken. Came in second, 27%. They'll go as far as the goaltending allows, 25%. Yep. Only 18% believe that if they're healthy, this team is as good as last year. So that's kind of on the low end of the totem pole. So people thinking it's going to be the goalies or the big guys that
and that makes sense. Oiler fans are going to be in a great mood tonight. So when they see that poll, I'm surprised that didn't skew a little more negative.
But keep
I
in
think
mind,
it's important on what's that?
This is the darkest day. Like, I think this is the darkest day of the last month or two of the season, guys. Like, I really do. I feel that way. So you're going to start getting healthy. Things are going to, it hasn't been off. They've been actually playing pretty well before these injuries came in. So this is the dark day. Just remember, it only gets better from here.
McDiesel adding to the poll, he said, I would add, don't panic, loyal to the oil. I think that's kind of, I'll put you down for if healthy, they're as good as last year. Because, of course, still some reinforced. Them being healthy also means a couple of players we haven't seen play in a single game yet this year for this team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, if you say when they're healthy, if you're talking about Evander Kane just snapping his fingers and being 100%, then yeah. I mean, that's a monster ad for them. Frederick will be as well. I just don't love the fact, Struds, that fundamentally they're going to try and play a bit of a different way than they have all year, and they're going to depend on 2 players to help them do it that may basically have 3 regular season games between the two of them in the last, Like,
yeah, but I don't think they're not going to change the way they play, though, right? Those guys are going to do what they do. All of a sudden, Henrique's not going to start running guys, nor is Arvidsson. Those guys do what they do, so they complement what's going on already. So I don't think that the team has to change how they play at all. Those guys will do what they do, just like the rest of the team, and they've been missing that element because they haven't been playing.
All right, time for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, an Edmonton-based independent electric wholesaler offering a wide range of products from lighting controls, wiring accessories, control and hazardous products. If you name it, they probably have it. Check them out at bjelectric.ca. Go ahead, Zuby.
Okay, Polly coming in saying first round exit is a legitimate possibility. On the other hand, if we get healthy and goaltending improves, a championship is also a possibility. The season of anxiety continues. Would you suggest that this seems like a team, maybe every team that makes the playoffs feels this way, but it does feel like there's a huge range of what this team could do once the postseason hits. Struddy?
Yeah. So how do you think Tampa's feeling if they have to play Florida, or if the Colorado Winnipeg situation, the Kings? A lot of these teams are kind of the same. These are all good teams, but they're going to have a pretty tough first round matchup. Then they get to their second round. So I agree, though. I think that the goaltending is kind of got to get stabilized. They have to get healthy. That's a huge thing, getting healthy. And then my biggest concern is the chemistry with the new players if they do come in. Like, you don't get chemistry in 2 or 3 nights. It's tough.
Struds, what do you think the LA Kings think about the Oilers this season compared to the previous years? Do you think they would be sweating the Oilers the same way they would have in previous years? Or do you think this year it's in their brain that, nope, this group is ripe?
Well, Quentin Byfield's there, and I think he's taken, some steps forward. I don't like Kuzmenko. If he's on that top line like he has been, I don't understand what that's going on with him. Drew Doughty is there. I think that changes. Kemper has been through battles as far as winning. He knows what that feels like. So I think they're bolstered. Fogle is not intimidated by the Oilers. He played with them. So I think they should feel good about themselves and say we have as good a chance as ever. But I just keep thinking, man, can you beat the same team 4 times? 4 times in a row. Sooner or later,
starting over. Yeah, it's tough, man, because they've been going to bed every night thinking about the Oilers for 3 years when their season ends. Starting over at 61 says, I hope they didn't hear Struddy say this is the darkest day. They may pull a hold my beer and watch this against Calgary. So starting over at 61 is worrying here. Maybe Calgary will be even worse.
But why? What since they've been out, what have we like? Have we seen that? Like, they played some pretty good hockey without their 2 big guys. Then tonight they're up against it because of this time change, right? I think we got to give the guys more credit than we are for some people on the stream. I truly feel this team has been pretty solid without those 2 guys in the lineup. Got to give them credit. This was a different night.
Aaron St. Pierre chiming in, Zuby, 26-3-4 at home are the LA Kings. So just an interesting ad stats wise there. Go ahead, Zoobs.
Yeah.
Fraud Chicken, who, by the way, is in first place in the Struddy's World March Madness bracket. That might need to be updated, but I'm right there with him, right behind him. He says, and a few other people echoed this sentiment, play Rodrigue on Saturday night against the Flames and let Pickard have the game against Vegas. He can't play 3 games in a row. I guess he can't start 3 games in a row in their idea. What would have to be the scenario from here in the next week or 2 weeks?
Pickard would have to be in a walking cast. There's zero chance
for Rodrigue to get a start?
Let's not get ridiculous. No, that he would start against the Flames on Saturday.
Okay.
No
well, then
chance.
let's expand that. Okay, no chance against the Flames.
There's a game against the San Jose Sharks coming up late next week. If Skinner's not ready to go yet, maybe you consider that, Struds. But Pickard absolutely gets the next 2 starts. 0% chance to me Rodrigue would start either of those, Struddy.
Hell would have to freeze over for this guy to start on Saturday night.
Yes.
It's just not happening. That is a
Yes.
massive game. The pressure's built up. You want to be around it, you want to feel it, what it's like, but you're not putting a rookie goalie into that situation. Especially one, and no disrespect to him. This isn't Carey Price coming up, right? This is a guy who's trying to find his way to the NHL. You're not giving the kid a chance. So no, not even thinking it.
Sorry to come over the top on you, Zuby. I knew that was going to happen because the guy makes a few nice saves and people are like, he can replace Skinner. Like, no. Everybody take a breath, chill out, know what he is. And by the way, has anyone seen Calvin Pickard's record this year? You're telling me you're going to start this guy over Calvin Pickard and do that to Calvin Pickard? Like, he's been waiting all year patiently, right? Backups wait. And they don't wish anything bad for the starter, but when that happens, guess what? That's when you give them their chance. So come on,
Well
people.
Said. Yeah, well said, bud. Well said.
All right. The big dog says, ask us anything, Struddy. Did you ever see any tension between a goalie and a player after a poor goalie performance? Zuby, do you get the stink eye from teammates if you have a bad game? I'll let you go first, and maybe Shaugher, you might have experience too as well, of course.
You'd always try to rally behind your goalie. You never want to leave a guy out on an island. I think the only times if you feel like he wasn't trying or he hasn't been trying in practice, and I don't remember any specific examples of that, but I remember more often not trying to rally around the guy.
Yeah, and I don't really have any specific stories to that point. I just know, I loved covering Mike Smith. He was as fiery a netminder as I've ever covered. And I think about some of the moments, for sure. You would hear nothing you can necessarily report on, but you would hear kind of off the record about some behind-the-scenes stuff going on in the room. Where, Mike Smith was not afraid to go in there and lace into guys. And so super fiery. But I think Strud's, for a certain type of character, a certain goaltender probably has earned that. And Mike Smith, to me, seems like a guy that probably had earned being able to go in there and rip into the fellas now and then.
Yeah, and I think, you want to, he was a leader, obviously, and he competes hard. And I respect the guys that competed hard. If you didn't compete hard, then you're coming in and telling me to try harder. Really? I didn't like hearing that from those guys. So if Mike was going to challenge me because I wasn't trying hard enough, yeah, I get it.
And I never played at a level high enough to be worthy of, more often than not, I'm the only goal. There's not, even coming up playing minor hockey, I didn't play at a level usually where there was 2 goalies. So there was oftentimes there's no other choice. So I'm just out there trying to do my best. All I ever want from my teammates is an honest effort. And it is funny, once in a while, I might pipe up at the bench, just more about missing something another team's doing or we're making, and then you go out there, okay, start the next period, muffin right off the face off, right? And you're just like, okay, well what was my opinion worth over there at the bench? Probably not much.
Love it. Big Dog says, thanks, Zuby. That was my first Ask Us Anything after about a year of listening. Thanks, Big Dog, for getting off the keyboard and hopping in. He's not the one I exploded at, was he?
No. And he came in, and that question came in really early too. So thanks for sticking around. I don't forget. I try to keep these all in the queue.
Yeah. A couple more, Zuby. 2 more. We'll shut her down. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadistic Angel, who's coming in here late in the chat, she says, we made too many changes during the offseason. It's a pretty basic statement, but it's funny for me to even read that. I thought it felt like this offseason in the early stages was more about tweaking than making big changes. But I guess when the offer sheets, that's when the offseason shifted. But looking back, does it feel like there were too many changes made in an offseason that should have been tweaking a roster that was that close, Shaugher?
One too many changes was made. If Dylan Holloway were on this team, he would be a spectacular option in the top 6. and everybody else would be lined up behind him in the right spot. So yeah, I think it's a more than fair point from Sadistic Angel, and thanks for that. But it was one too many for sure, Struds.
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis, that was a masterclass on offer sheeting, right? They did a really good job. Yeah. And you're right. If Holloway was on the team, he'd be playing beside Draisaitl, and things would be more settled. Right now, that's the line to me that we're trying to figure out what it looks like. And I think it would look like pretty good with him beside the big guy.
I think he's got the same number of goals as McDavid now, doesn't he? Sorry if that's a stinger, but I think that might be the case. Anyway.
All right, last one, something for fun here. JL said, has Struddy started knitting this year's playoff rally scarf? No, I think this needs to happen. This team needs a boost, Struddy, and I think it's got to come from you.
What are we thinking color-wise? What are we thinking color-wise here, fellas? Can we talk about the palette and what, Struddy, what are you leaning towards?
Well, I've only got so much yarn over here. I'm not a yarn store, right? So we kind of got to pick what I have.
We can open up the Got Your Back budget. You can buy some yarn on Got Your Back if you want.
The yarn they're not giving away, buddy. Sheep don't work for free. So it's pretty expensive. No, I haven't been knitting much lately. I've been pretty busy with other things. So I guess I could bring it back. It's not that hard to learn to knit. These fingers remember, right? It's like riding a bike.
All right. That was. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go, Shaugger, I did a little running around here in the background. This will take one more minute. I do have your back. This is audio of Pronger having your back on the other situation.
For the record, I did not ask for this again. This is you choosing to do this.
I did, yes.
You were always fun to be around the front of the net. You were really such a
gentlemanly person.
That was one award you were not going to be up for.
If the sole purpose is to protect your goalie and be like, okay, you're not touching the goalie, running the goalie, then you take the hardest, toughest penalty you possibly can on one of their best players. And then you go down the other end and you bump their goalie, sending a message and setting the tone of this is not allowed. Mm-hmm. And if you continue to do it, then there will be repercussions. And if you have to take a suspension, then you take one. But you have to. I'm sorry, but you have to set the tone. And they should have done it a long time ago.
When we hear Corey Perry say, we'll deal with it internally. I mean, what is that? A conversation over dinner? Are you having a team meeting to say, okay, enough of this stuff?
It's probably a meeting in the locker room of like how they're going to handle things. How are they going to, moving forward, what is our action going to be? That's just the nature of the game. And especially as we get later on into the season and then into the playoffs, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter.
All right. I don't know. Struds, any comment on prongs?
No, listen, there's time for that as well, right? There's time for that as well.
All right. Time for our play of the day, I believe. Brought to you by Gallery Dental, offering a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team providing personalized care with the latest technology, making sure you get the best treatment possible. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Prongs was a great guest today on Ray and Dregs, by the way. So if you haven't downloaded that pod yet, go grab it and listen to the interview. Some real good stuff in there with the former Oiler defenseman. Struds, what do we got for play of the day?
Wild and Capital played tonight, and Caps were leaving the ice. Ovechkin chased his teammates down, had him come out to the middle of the ice so that he and his teammates could shake the flower, Marc-Andre Fleury's hand, one last time, I guess, his farewell tour. And nobody's right at the front of the line. So him and Marc-Andre Fleury have a good meeting at the center. They've played many, many games against each other. And I thought that was a very cool moment. Like, that just shows like the respect these two guys have had. I mean, they've been going at it for 15, 20 years.
Oh yeah. And he kind of he almost had to look down the ice and be like, no, we're coming. Yeah, we're coming. He sort of signaled to them, like, just give me a sec. And he went and rallied the troops, and then just a lovely moment there between two sage veteran players. That is a great choice for our play of the day. Okay, Struddy, let's take a break for a day, regroup, go to our corners, and we'll come out swinging on Saturday night, pal.
Looking forward to that game. Two hardworking teams. I suspect they're going to both bring their best because Calgary needs some points. Big time.
Zuby, thanks for having my back late in the show here, pal.
No problem. That's what I do. Six shows in 3 days. I'm gonna have a cold drink here, and
you've earned it.
And get to bed.
100%, you've earned it. And a reminder: shoot us a note, a DM on Twitter with your answer to the trivia question. One more time, the trivia question, Zuby.
Which former Edmonton Oiler goaltender was nicknamed Peaches? And if you have video, you might want to look over up behind me there.
Okay. So we'll do the draw at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and those are 2 pair of club tickets for Saturday night's Battle of Alberta, courtesy Play Alberta. Big thanks to our title sponsor for doing that, and a big thanks to all of you for joining us on the stream. Have a fantastic finish to your night or a great Friday, and we will chat on Saturday. Cheers.